everyone, and welcome to our group case study presentation where we will be discussing overcoming injury as an Olympic champion. So our athlete that we selected for this case study is Anastasia Zolotic. Anastasia Zolotic is a 21-year-old female and Taekwondo athlete that has represented Team USA, earning major titles at several international competitions, the most notable one being the 2020 Tokyo Summer Olympics, where she became the first US woman to win Olympic gold in Taekwondo. She was born in Largo, Florida, USA to Bosnia and Herzegovina immigrant parents. She started her Taekwondo journey at around 7 or 8 years old before she started competing at larger scale tournaments. She eventually became a national team member representing the USA at the Junior Pan American Games at 14 years old. She then went on to win silver at the 2018 Youth Olympic Games, gold at the 2019 Pan American Games, and then finally realized her longtime Olympic dream, winning Olympic gold at the 2020 Summer Olympics. After becoming Olympic champion, she suffered a season-ending and potentially career-threatening knee injury during a test match. The injury resulted in a shattered patella requiring surgery, which inhibited her ability to kick or punch for nearly 8 months. This period of injury not only put a serious wrench in her training, but also diminished her self-confidence and motivation. She even considered walking away from Taekwondo completely. Anastasia shared some of the thoughts that she had about herself while injured. She expressed how she felt that she had lost her sense of self and that she didn't believe she deserved the title of Olympic champion since she wasn't competing or training. She discussed how she debated quitting and how finding the motivation to continue played a huge role in her return to sport.
The restoration of self model was developed by Linda Mannering in 1992 to understand the psychological reaction to severe sport-related injuries, specifically ACL tears. It is an interconnected model that focuses on 3 internal factors related to the person's rehabilitation process, specifically related to their psychological well-being. These internal factors include a physical domain that focuses on functioning and medical treatment, a social domain that focuses on support and attitudes towards disabilities, and a psychological domain that focuses on positive and negative affect. There are also external factors that influence each internal factor individually and collectively. Taking a look at the model, we can see a black box surrounding the 3 domains representing the person. The psychological domain is mainly composed of negative and positive affect. Positive affect comes in the form of optimism related to perceived progression and rehabilitation. Negative affect comes in the form of low self-esteem and depression as a result of perceived loss of physical functioning. With these changes in our psychological domain comes changes in adaptation, specifically related to our attitudes towards disability. As athletes who experience severe injury were found to have more empathy towards people with disabilities. External factors related to the situation influence the social domain and physical domain. Specifically for the social domain, social consequences such as a lack of support can really reduce morale in athletes experiencing a severe injury. With the physical domain, situational factors such as reduced physical prowess increases motivation to reestablish self-identity. Medication treatment plus physiotherapy, specifically the physiotherapist, results in increased motivation and progression through rehabilitation. A lack of information can have both a negative and positive affect, respectively, on the psychological domain as well.
To understand why the restoration of self model applies to Anastasia's experience, consider her journey. Following a severe knee injury that threatened to end her career, she faced a deep loss of motivation and an identity crisis, feeling disconnected from her achievements. This situation perfectly illustrates the model's focus on the impact of physical conditions on self perception and motivation. Her recovery was more than just a physical healing, as she had to reclaim her sense of self and purpose. She rekindled her motivation by reflecting on her past successes and the support of her family and coach, returning to compete at the World Taekwondo Grand Prix, only her second event after her injury, symbolized the restoration of her identity and motivation. This journey shows the restoration of self model in action, highlighting its relevance in her case. It captures the essence of overcoming physical, psychological, and social challenges to restore oneself, making the model a fitting framework to understand her experience. Now, in analyzing Anastasia's recovery through the 3 domains, it can be simplified as follows. In terms of the psychological domain, she experienced negative affects such as loss of motivation and questioning her identity. However, she utilized positive affects to build self efficacy, gradually regaining her confidence and drive. This shift from negative to positive psychological states exemplifies her mental resilience and recovery, aligning with the model's focus on psychological adaptation to adversity. In terms of social domain, the support she received from her family and coach played a crucial role in her recovery. This social
Mhm.
support system helped her navigate the challenges of her injury, emphasizing the model's perspective on the importance of social interactions and relationships in overcoming difficulties and facilitating recovery. In terms of the physical domain, her physical challenges included not only dealing with injury itself, but also coping with the limitations it imposed on her daily life, like difficulty of walking. Her rigorous rehab program highlights this physical domain's focus on tangible aspects of recovery and overcoming the bodily challenges associated with an injury. Together, these domains offer a straightforward understanding of her recovery, showcasing the interplay between psychological resilience, social support, and physical rehab in overcoming adversity and restoring her sense of self.
Our treatment plan for Anastasia focuses on facilitating her psychological recovery and emotional well-being. Central to this objective is restoring her motivation, confidence, and sense of identity, which have been challenged by her setback. We prioritize addressing her emotional responses to the injury, providing tailored support to navigate rehabilitation challenges with resilience. Additionally, our plan aims to help Anastasia reestablish her identity and purpose within Taekwondo, assisting her in reclaiming her place in the sport with renewed energy. As we progress to the next couple slides, we will elaborate on the specific steps outlined within our treatment plan. Each step will be carefully explained, demonstrating how it contributes to Anastasia's psychological recovery and ties back to our chosen model. Through this extensive approach, we aim to provide a roadmap for Anastasia's journey towards recovery and eventual return to peak performance.
Our treatment plan can be broken down into three main steps. The first step is the assessment of our athlete. We need to perform psychological assessments to get an understanding of her mental state, her feelings toward the sport and returning to play, and any current issues that she's facing. We need to address any psychological and mental health problems or coping mechanisms used in the past. The second step is to surround her with the right environment and support system. This could be family members, coaches, training partners, teammates, or any athlete who suffered from a similar injury as her. This will allow her to feel trusted, and her former teammates or coaches can help validate her feelings toward her injury. This helps to build motivation, especially because she'll be surrounded by the people who have helped her start and get involved in the sport from the beginning. The third step is goal setting. We need to get her to set short and long-term goals. The goals need to be specific, have time frames, and be realistic. This will help to keep her motivated and to help her see a purpose within the sport again. All three of these steps relate back to our theoretical framework, which we'll be talking about in the next slide.
In the restoration of self model, athletes strive to overcome disability by seeking information and adapting to the traumatic experience of being severely injured. This resonates with the initial assessment phase of our treatment plan, where we focus on exploring Anastasia's cognitive and affective responses to her injury. We aim to understand the injury's nature, its impact, and the cognitive processes involved in coping with physical limitations. As such, the cognitive dimension of the model, specifically the themes of comprehending the nature and extent of the injury and adjustment to sport injury, are reflected. Consequently, engaging Anastasia in discussions about her injury empowers her to not only articulate her thoughts and feelings, but also equips her with the knowledge to navigate recovery effectively. This fosters a sense of agency in her rehabilitation process, which falls in line with the model. As for our second step, providing Anastasia with the right support aligns with the social domain of the model. This emphasizes the importance of social connections in the recovery process. The injury not only impacts Anastasia physically, but also has significant social repercussions. Thus, by involving family members, coaches, training partners, teammates, or athletes who have experienced similar injuries, we aim to recreate a supportive environment similar to Anastasia's pre-injury social circle. Finally, encouraging Anastasia to set short and long-term goals aligns with both the physical and psychological domains of the model. Just as athletes in the reference study detailed their experiences with injury onset and discomfort during treatment, Anastasia must also confront the physical realities of her injury. Actively engaging in goal setting empowers Anastasia, fostering a sense of agency and control. Through her progress, she will find purpose and direction in pursuing achievements and milestones.